Joy Guru. Today I would like to answer to a very tricky but very real question. And the question is, that is, up to what extent we should follow our conscience in taking decisions? Or put it in another way, is it right or prudent to follow our conscience? And if it is at all so, up to what extent in taking decisions? In other words, in making decisions, what should be the role of our conscience? Now, as I have already stated, this is a very tricky but very real question, as because every step of our life is a challenge, and everywhere and every time we need to take decision. So therefore, decision making is a very challenging task, and most often we make decision following our conscience. But so at first let me say, what is conscience? Conscience, you can say, we say it mind, we say it our intellect, or we say it, you can say, our inner call. Somebody says like this, it is my inner call, like this. So this is conscience, and we follow conscience. However, in one word it can be said that conscience is a, you can say, is a kind of instrument which has the power to discriminate between good and bad and right and wrong. That is, what is good for me, what is bad for me, what is right for me, what is wrong for me. All these decisions I need to take every time, you see, every time and everywhere. And here comes the importance of conscience. Most often than not, we take the assistance of our conscience. But conscience of all people is not same. It varies with character, with knowledge, conduct, experience, etc. So therefore, it is not that conscience will tell the, you can say, we will tell the perfect decision. It's not like that, because our conscience is often deluded by the obsession of passions. And see, you possibly know that we have 6 passions, namely lust, calm, then anger, krodh, greed, that is lobh, and then pride, that is modo, and then delusion or illusion, that is moho, and matscharya, that is jealousy. See, we are somehow, you can say, we are obsessed with either one or more than one passions or complexes. And here, you see, and because of this, you see, because of this, our conscience is not always perfect. Now, but we need to take decision. Now, I will tell you 2 situations where we need to take decision, for example. Or if anybody asks you that what should be your decision, you see, rape, murder, these are very heinous crimes. There is no doubt about it, barbaric acts. But if anyone asks you that what should be the punishment of a rapist or of a murderer, then what should be your answer? You see, these heinous crimes nowadays are very rampant everywhere, more or less. Maybe somewhere it is more, somewhere it is comparatively less. You see, but however, it is almost predominant everywhere. Now, some of the, or you can say, most of the people will say that rapist or murderer should be hanged unto death. But then some people will say, no, this is not enough punishment. After all, doing such, or you can say committing such heinous crime, he will suffer only for few minutes or like that. It's not proper. He should be given rigorous life imprisonment. Because through this rigorous life imprisonment, he will have to suffer for a long period. But then there are third kind of people also who will say that these people, or the rapist or the murderer, for example, they should be kept in a religious ashram, and they should be exposed with some spiritual training or spiritual teachings, so that in due time they will understand their actual faults, their misdeeds, and they will be really repentant. And there is no alternative of real repentance. So these are, and he will be the example to show others, or you can say to show others that this is not good. You see, after all, yes, we have the obsession of passions, but even then we must be robust not to do or not to commit any misdeed. So there are three different kinds of decisions. Now, which decision should you take following your conscience is the most tricky and most but very real question. Now, just consider another situation. You see, where somebody says that vegetarian diet is good for health. Again, some other people say no, non-vegetarian diet is far more better. And those who advocate the non-vegetarian diet, they used to say, just see, we have such teeth pattern that suits the omnivorous kind of food habit. Yes, it is so, because we have incisors, we have canine, we have premolars, we have molars. You see, all kinds of teeth we have. So for becoming omnivorous, so there is no harm in taking flesh. So therefore, because God has given us this kind of teeth pattern, so we should take it. And not only that, even they also argue that we need to take animal protein so that we can be healthy. Otherwise, lack of this will make us weak. Will make us unhealthy. These are some of the arguments or reasonings of such person. But there are people who say that no, vegetarian diet is much better because of the fact that killing animals is a kind of sin, because after all, animals, maybe it is fish, maybe it is a goat or cow or buffalo, whatever it may be, killing those animals is definitely a kind of sin. But because after all these are the creation of the God himself, so therefore it is a kind of sin. And not only that, they also argue like this, that after all, we do not need animal proteins. Vegetable protein is enough, or vegetable stuff, they are enough for our sustenance. Rather, our health will be more improved if we take a vegetarian diet. Now again, third option, you can say third type of people are also there, who say that, who are not only vegetarian, they are called vegans. They used to say, well, we should not even consume milk or honey because these are animal products. After all, we exploit a cow or buffaloes because of milk, or because of milk. Again, we exploit honeybees because we extract honey from the honeycomb of honeybees. So we should not exploit this. Rather, the calves of cow should drink cow milk. Again, honeybees should eat honey. These are the arguments, or these are the reasonings that they would pose. Now, if anyone asks you that what should be your decision, so should you take non-vegetarian diet, should you take vegetarian diet, or should you be vegans? These are some of the very tricky questions, or very tricky decisions that we need to undertake. Now, the answer, I should say, that whatever decision we should take, that should not be, or you can say that should not be deluded by delusion, by the obsession of complex. It is also a fact that we often support our weakness on the pretext of conscience. One thing we should remember, that man revolves in this world with his conscience, and he attaches maximum importance to his conscience, and he thinks that his decision is the best decision. It is the general rule. But as I have already stated, we often support our weakness on the pretext of conscience. I will give you an example. We are ordinary people, but it is considered that Arjun is somewhat superior than common people. But even then, he had committed blunders. As we all know, when he came to the holy battlefield of Kurukshetra, Then he said to Lord Krishna that, you see, it's not better to kill elders, to kill relatives like this. And he has stated that, you see, rather than killing the noble-minded elders, it is better in this world to live on alms. And if we kill these elders, and if we enjoy the desirable things, or you can say the wealth, then that would be drenched in blood. Such arguments, you see, such arguments Arjun gave. It is stated in the 5th sloka of the 2nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where Arjun has stated like this: Guru na hatvahi mahanubhavan sreyo bhaktum bhakshamapi loke hattartha kamastu guru nihoibo bhunjiyo bhogan rudhiro pradigdhan. Such are the reasonings of Arjun. But then Lord Krishna had to say very many slokas, you see, to counsel Arjun that you are wrong. You are actually, see, he has stated that in the 11th sloka of the 2nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where he has stated, Asachananna sochastam praggabadangscha bhasase Gatasuno agatasungscha nanu sochanti panditaho. That means that you are grieved for those that you are grieved rather it is like this, that is you grieve for those who are not to be grieved for. But in spite of that, you speak words of wisdom. You see, it's not proper, because the learned persons, they do not grieve, see, for the departed and also who have not departed. And then Lord Krishna started to speak host of slokas, you see, host of slokas. And at last, you see, possibly on the in 73rd sloka of the 18th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where ultimately Arjun understood his mistakes. And then he had stated like this, that is, Nashto moho smritir labdha tat prasadat maya achyuto sthitosmi gato sandeho karishye vachanam tavo. It means that delusions has been destroyed and memory has been regained by me through your grace. I stand with doubt removed. I shall follow your instruction. So just see. After all, this was the weakness of Arjun, because Lord Krishna stated that you think that you will kill them, and everything will be destroyed, everything will be lost, no, it is not. They will remain, definitely not as bodily form, but as soul form, but they will remain. You cannot kill them, you cannot destroy them. It's not really possible. But then even Lord Krishna has also counseled him that even if you do not understand this, you can say this spiritual teaching, then also you need to fight, because after all, by Varna you are Kshatriya. It is your pious duty to fight against those who have come in this holy battlefield. So therefore you need to fight. But Arjun, for example, since he was deluded with weakness, that's why he didn't understand this real truth. The same has been told by Sri Thakur Anukul Kotha. He has stated that weakness is the sin incarnate. It is like blood-sucking vampire, and he has advised us that please remove this blood-sucking vampire. If you have slightest weakness, then you cannot enter into the heaven of religion. This is not possible. So same truth, and definitely the great persons, they say alike So therefore, just see that Arjun was wrong. But you see, but then we cannot understand. This is the, you can say, this is the tragedy. So if we take, so whenever we need to take decision, then what should be our yardstick? The simple truth is simply this, that our conscience is not always perfect. Because as I have already stated, that we are obsessed with either one or more than one passions or complexes. It is a fact, you see. But so what should we do? We should follow, you see, that person whose conscience is absolutely perfect. Now naturally the question arises, who is that person? The answer is very simple. He is the supreme person, you see, whom we call Purushottam. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita. And what is that? You see, it is stated that God is generally, you see, God remains in transcendental form, you see, or you can say impersonal. It is said that we can say there are two kinds. One is called personal God, another is called impersonal God. Impersonal God is that which we cannot see, which is present everywhere, you see, Anantu, it's endless, everywhere. But we cannot really fathom that God. We cannot really understand, we cannot really realize that God. And for our convenience, so that we can realize God, God comes in the form of anthropogenic form, that is in human form. Then we call him as Purushottam, that is supreme person. Lord Ramachandra has come as first Purushottam, as first supreme person, and then Lord Krishna has come. And then there is a series, you see, we say it like this, Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, and so on and so forth. So therefore, and they come according to the need of that particular era. In other words, there is also evolution of supreme person as time. You see, time evolves. Same is the case with Purushottam also. So therefore, we need to take refuge to the latest supreme person. Latest supreme person, that is the supreme person of that particular, or we can say of that particular era. For example, Ramchandra was the Purushottam, was the supreme person of Treta era. It is said like this. Lord Krishna was the Purushottam of Dapur era. So therefore, so we need to take refuge of of supreme person. Now, how we can take refuge? So, you see, just consider a real life. You can say real life example. For example, I need to take a decision, a very hard decision, which I cannot make up my mind. In that case, what should I do? I should, first of all, I should meditate upon him. I should chant, I should think upon him, and I should say to my Purushottam, that is to my supreme person, then you please guide me. So for this, I need to attach myself with my supreme person. Now, what are the different routes, or what are the different avenues through which I can get myself attached with supreme person? You see, in Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that there are 4 avenues, namely path of knowledge, path of devotion, path of meditation, and path of action. That is Gyan Jog, Bhakti Jog, Dhyan Jog, and Karma Jog. You can take any one of them, but it is also a fact that, you see, the path of devotion is by far the most simplest one. It is also stated. So therefore, and in the path of devotion, I need to take a Sadguru. Sadguru means real mentor, who will give me a holy name, and by chanting holy name, I can get myself attached with my supreme person, because it has the, you can say, it's a kind of capsule, if I say so, within which everything is given. So whenever I chant this holy name, that means I am trying myself, because that holy name is the name of the personal God of that particular era. So therefore, whenever I chant his name, that means I am trying myself to get myself attached with him. So this is by far the most simplest way. So if whenever I need to take a right decision, then I must think upon him, and I must meditate upon him. How? That means at that point of time I must repeat the holy name that the Sadguru has given to me, and I must watch the picture of my love Lord within the mirror of my mind. Then it is possible then that you see that personal God, that is that Purushottam, will guide me, will guide me, definitely will guide me. Maybe it may so happen that I may commit wrong, I may commit some false step. But sooner or later, definitely I will get instructions from my inner call, if you say, from my conscience, that this should be the right path. Here, at this point of time, my conscience is more or less a perfect conscience, because of the fact that here I have attached my conscience with that Supreme Person. So this is the matter. So therefore, the main thing here is that I need to get myself attached with Supreme Person. And so therefore, in conclusion, I would like to say that I should follow my conscience up to that extent which conforms with the life philosophy, or you can say with the teachings or with the preachings of my Supreme Person, of my Purushottam. You see, in my case, for example, whatever decision I will take in any assignment, or you can say at any step, I will follow the teachings, or I will follow the preachings, or you can say life philosophy of Sri Thakur Anukul Kotha, because he is my Sadguru, and I reckon that he is the Supreme Person of the present age. In other words, he is the latest incarnation of God. Yes, you have all the liberty to differ with me. That's another issue. You may have your own Supreme Person, but even then, I would rather suggest that you would get yourself attached with that Supreme Person to take decision. So for any action, as I've already stated, that each and every moment of my life or of our life is a great challenge, and we need to take decision. And if we take wrong decision, then we will have to suffer for that. You see, and if we take good decision, then we will be rewarded. This is you see, one must remember that the ultimate goal is definitely to enjoy bliss, the real bliss. You see, because our own existence is Satchidananda. That means Sat means that is we are eternal. That is our you see, being is a permanent thing. It is not transient. It is not temporary. And then Chit means that is, you see, myself is a concept. You see, you can say has I have the capacity to respond with the different environmental stimuli. And Anando means bliss. So therefore, our aim, you can say goal of life is to get bliss, the real bliss. And in order to get real bliss, we need to take right decision at right time. And for this, we need to get ourselves attached with our Supreme Persons. But in my case, for example, as I have already stated, Sri Thakur Anukul Kotha. So therefore, this is my humble submission. That is, I would follow my conscience up to that extent which conforms the life philosophy, or you can say teaching or preaching of my Supreme Person. I will abandon the advice of my conscience if it does not conform with the teaching or preaching of my Supreme Person. No matter, see, whatever and up to what extent they may seem palatable, you see, or they may seem reasonable. So after all, one should remember that reasoning, or you can say reasons, do not guide us. You see, it is the urge of love which actually guides us. So live in love. Joy.